The Joe Rogan Experience.
When Dad started talking about writing a book, we were like, ugh, there's no way. You know, his brain is truly cyclical, just like the farm. There's, you know, birth, growth, death, decay, birth, growth, death, decay. Where do you start? The chicken or the egg? Who came first? And for him, you know, we had talked about him writing a book for a very long time, and honestly, nobody knew where to start. And so he was approached by, you know, some folks who said, hey, we think, you know, you'd be a great book writer. And Dad quickly told them, there's no way I can write a book. No way in hell. I don't know where to start and where to end. They said, well, let us help you. So they found a ghostwriter named Emily Grieven, who is great. And she and Dad had phone dates every Friday for probably a year that lasted anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. And in listening to the book, Dad narrated it, and it is like a glimpse inside of his brain. It is such a, all of his thoughts are there. And, you know, I think it's so important because, you know, Dad started a business and a mission that is going to last a lot longer than him. You know, he's 69 this year, and, you know, the food system is not going to be fixed, you know, by the time he is gone. And so to be part of that and to be part of a business that's, you know, bigger than one person's life that lasts so much longer, I think is so important. And people like him have got to focus on that. You know, he can't fix the food system. He has to set the groundwork for people like you and I to fix the food system, and then to instill it in our children to fix the food system.
What was the motivation to write this?
You know, I felt like people needed to know what I spent the last 25 years learning. I'm not the only one that knows it, but I'm the only one that has this particular slant on it. I knew I couldn't write a book. You know, I went to the University of Georgia and majored in agriculture. We didn't read many books. We certainly didn't write a book. When they approached us about writing it, it just seemed like the thing to do. And I give so much credit to this Emily Graven that Jenni referenced, who wrote it, who actually wrote my thoughts down on the paper.
And do you think this is a one-time deal? Or are you going to write more books?
I know damn well it is. It took me 69 years to come up with enough shit to put in that book. I'm not going to have time for it.
It seems like another book, though, someone should write is how this can be fixed and what steps need to be taken. And I think it needs to be taken for sure. It needs to be taken at a governmental level.
There's a bunch of books out there that I've seen that farmers have written that I didn't agree with. There's one, Dirt to Soil by Gabe Brown, that's great. So, you know, there are others.
So if someone is out there that does run an industrial farm and is sort of tortured by it, that they're aware of the consequences of what they're doing, and they would like to maybe admire what you've done and like to move in that direction.
Well, since you mentioned it, Gabe and I we're both in about the same age. We're both industrial farmers that went this route, and there's some great regenerative farmers out there, but there aren't a tremendous number of them that used to be an industrial farmer. There's just not a lot of that.
How many industrial farms are there in this country?
Oh, I have no idea. A lot. I mean, a lot less than it used to be because they've consolidated and gotten so much bigger. But I don't know that number. That's.
Well, you were originally brought onto that Fox News show because they were trying to figure out what a farmer thinks about Bill Gates buying up farmland. Mm-hmm. You know, Bill Gates, who's famously said that everyone's got to stop eating meat and eat these bullshit fake meat versions, these plant-based meats. So there's 25,000 factory farms. Factory farms continue to take over the agricultural landscape of the United States. There are currently 1.6 billion animals in our nation's 25,000 factory farms, which makes sense. I mean, if you just, you know, go to Arby's, where's that food coming from?
Well, and, you know, an even so Jamie, you should Google this, but when we talk about that, the centralization of the meat industry is even more stark. So what is it? Maybe four meat processors, at least with beef, occupy over 80% of the nation's beef supply.
Yeah,
Four.
Jenni just gave me this before we came in here, but it's this is in 2023. The United States has imported 956 million pounds of beef so far in 2023.
Wow.
That's imported beef.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Jamie, will you pull up that, I think I named it like food consolidation or something?
I bet most people have no idea. I bet most people listening to this are blown away by that number. That most people would, if you asked the average person on the street, how much meat do you think is imported from other countries? Beef. They would probably say, well, none. They wouldn't even think of it.
No.
Yeah.
Especially if you get to label it a product of the USA, which
Yeah.
is so dirty.
Yeah, and that's, consumers believe they have the impression of choice. They don't actually have choice. The image that Jamie's going to show us.
Just trying to find a cleaner one. It's
Oh,
just a little
good.
blurry, but
Yep.
Okay, here it is.
So look at all these brands that are owned by this, 10 or so parent companies.
It's crazy.
So, consumers have the the impression that there is choice, but truly there is no choice. The same is true with meat. I think on Tyson's website it has, and I gave it to Jamie, but 1 in every 5 pounds of meat that's consumed in America is a Tyson product.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
So we talk about centralized food. We talk about food security. Do we really want a global food supply? And the answer is yes or no. But with regards to fragility in food, think about COVID and the effects of what it did to the grocery store. There we go.
1 in 5 pounds of chicken, beef, and pork in the U.S. is produced by Tyson Foods.
And the other
That's
four,
proudly registered on their website.
Yeah, there's another one that talks about how many animals they slaughter in a week, and that's another just incredible number.
the same is the other 4 pounds are produced by 2 or 3 other companies. It's not like it was Tyson and everybody else.
Right.
Will you pull up that other one, Jamie? Because I want to draw a correlation between the scale of this versus the scale of what farms like us do.
this thing.
No, there's one that says like 177,000 cattle are processed. Anyways, I'll tell you a little bit about our model, and then we can compare it to that. But so when Dad decided to build the processing plant in 2007, he built it to process 50 head of cattle a week. And we got to that number, and we were still hemorrhaging money. There was no way that was going to work. And so we made a few modifications, primarily around refrigeration. We dropped the chill time.
This one?
Yep, that's it. So our processing plant, on-farm processing plant, will process 25 head of cattle a day, 5 days a week. So it's 125 head a week. Compared to systems like this, which is also on Tyson's website, 155,000 head of cattle are processed per week in only 14 facilities.
Wow. That's crazy.
And, the further to the right you go, so, pork, 471,000 pigs are slaughtered in a week at only 7 facilities. 47 million chickens
per week.
And I've been in those facilities, and it's not pretty.
But that is the
Must
scale
smell
of food.
horrible. We've shown the footage of someone got drone footage where they fly a drone over a pig farm, an industrialized pig farm, and you see these lakes of pig waste, and it's so disgusting. It's just toxic waste.
Which is sad because that waste is what created that topsoil
Right.
at White Oak Pastures. It's just
Right.
we took the livestock off of the land. We decoupled what had been coupled for millions of years.
So these are these lakes. Now, here's the question. Why can't they take that waste and redistribute it into the land and use it for fertilizer.
And there's some of that done, but it's expensive.
That's the problem. That's expensive. Is that what they're doing right here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember them talking about the waste was getting spread on the people's like houses.
Oh.
Because it would be in the air and then it would
Right, of
spray
course.
over or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, indiscriminate because they want to do it cheaply.
Yeah, and there's a difference between a cow or pig or chicken defecating here and there.
Right.
And spreading
in a natural
something,
way.
That thick across
Yes.
there.
Right.
Well, and just to sort of tie all that together, Jamie, you have one more thing, and then I swear I'm going to quit asking you to pull shit up. But
That's what he does. It's okay. He likes it.
I have to apologize. He's probably like, who invited her?
No.
But there's one more that's like our brands. So 1 in 5 pounds of meat, we just read that, was produced by Tyson. But consumers have no idea that it was a Tyson product.
Right.
So if you look at the amount of brands that these big multinational meat corporations own, there's no way for a consumer to know that that's one of those products. So it's just a really incredible system when you start pulling the layers back on it.
And there's a demand. That's the other problem. It's like you're not going to get them to stop doing that. There's a massive demand for all this food.
Yeah.
And most people listening to this are part of that demand. Most people listening to this have stopped at a fast food burger place this week and picked up a product of this system.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to do that. If you're hungry and you're on the go and you want to be able to pull into a drive-through, get a cheeseburger and some fries and a soda, bam. It's kind of extraordinary, the system they've created. It sucks that you can't do it in a healthy way, but it's kind of extraordinary that you just pull into someone and get 1,000 calories like that.
So convenient.
And
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, very cheap.
Incredibly cheap.
Yeah, for the amount of calories. And that is also reflected in the health consequences of impoverished people. If you look at people that are poor that rely upon this kind of food all the time, those are the people that have the worst health outcomes because they're eating stuff that doesn't have any nutrients in it. It's terrible for you. It's filled with seed oils and bullshit and preservatives. And I'm sure you've seen those. They've done these little tests where they've taken a McDonald's cheeseburger and just sit it on a shelf
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for like weeks and nothing happens to it.
Yeah.
You could probably eat it, which is so insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, you could sit it for weeks.
But these companies, as bad as this is, these companies have done what the public told them to do. The public has said we want food cheaper.
Right. Cheaper, quicker. Yeah.
Consistent.
And quicker. And you know how you get cheaper and quicker?
Okay, this is exactly the same after 5 years.
Ooh.
5 years.
Way to go, Jamie.
That is wild.
It doesn't look that bad.
That is crazy.
Stick a fork in me, I'm done.
Wow. So Megan wants to find out whether the cheeseburger will stay the same after another 5 years. So I bet it will. I mean, what's going to change? 5 years. Says she's inspired to carry out the experiment after seeing an old burger being showcased in her doctor's office. And so she set this burger down and just left it out there for 5 years, and that's what it looks like. Hi, Megan. Kind of crazy, but also disturbing if you eat that. Like, what is that doing to your gut microbiome? What is that doing to your health? I mean, the preservatives have a consequence on your health. The eating stuff that, we were talking about dog food earlier, and I feed my dog raw food. And I just started feeding him raw food about 6-7 months ago, and it's embarrassing to me that that's the case. Because I always just thought if you go to the pets, I didn't think about it. You go to the pet store, you buy healthy food, the best food that they have available at a nice pet store. Like, this got to be good for the dog. Oh, look at all the nutrients. Look at all the stuff. But then I was thinking, like, how is it just sitting there? How does it not go bad? How does it not? There's never mold on pet food. There's the cheeseburger. 20 years. Oh, my God. A Utah man. 20. Well, there's your answer, Megan.
It doesn't even look like that one's been in the refrigerator.
No, just sitting there. I don't think hers was either.
Dang.
This guy's just hoarding cheeseburgers. This guy's got a 14-year-old cheeseburger. There's quite a few of
He
them.
just breaks it out every year for an update.
Oh, my God. That's insane. That's insane.
The pickle went bad.
Yeah, the pickle went bad. Pickle kind of, he's got it.
He's got the receipt.
He's got the receipt. That's incredible.
How much was it?
79 cents.
79 cents. Not much more now, which is pretty
right.
shocking. Yeah, but there's a consequence.